You put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2,
Welcome back. It is currently Saturday. This is Ross. I am joined by...
Oh,
Together we form the Agony of Positivity podcast without
Yes.
robot sounds.
yes.
It is cold out this morning.
My thermometer right here in the house says 9 degrees.
I believe it. So we got a little bit of snow yesterday. And
Yeah, so let me complain about that a little bit. The weathermen here are like, yeah, there's gonna be a dusting. Yeah, I got like probably 3 inches out here.
yeah, there's a lot more than I thought we were supposed to get. And
Yeah.
then, so I have like a little doggy. It's part dachshund, so like that size. And he usually doesn't have issues, but between the actual cold and whatever, I saw him like he was like trotting back to the house, getting ready to come in. And all of a sudden, he freezes up for a second. And I'm like, well, what is that weirdo doing? And between the cold and the snow, his paws actually were cramping up on him. So I had to run outside and pick him up and bring him back in to get his feet warmed up. And like, I don't think that's ever happened to him. So it's super cold. Holy moly. Oh man, I am tired.
Yeah. What are you tired for?
One, waking
Other than
up.
not getting enough sleep.
Well, yeah, waking up, lower carbs in the diet, so that's always like a transition. But
Oh, okay. So you're doing a no carb diet.
not necessarily, just like super low. I think we've talked about it on the show before, years ago probably. I always feel better if I'm not eating a ton of carbs, but then I'll do that for a month or two sometimes, and then I'll just go back to eating more normal, because I'll be like, man, pizza's really good, or something like that. But it kind of kicks your butt the first couple days. It is funny though, because I realized last night, I was like, well, because like yesterday was the first day that I made it with virtually zero carbs. I think I had like 3 or 4. Like I ate some almonds, so I got a little bit there.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my wife, and I was like, well, I've eliminated caffeine and carbs. I feel like I should eliminate something else. She was like, yeah, fun. Something to that effect. And it's like, yeah, I have kind of eliminated a lot of the normal stuff. Like, now I still drink occasional caffeine still. Like, I was real tempted to drink some caffeine before the show just to kind of feel awake, but I could
Just go complete vegetarian.
I honestly thought about that briefly, and then it is so difficult to get protein. I find.
Now
let me rephrase that. Protein
Ryback
that I
would
want.
argue. Ryback would argue with that.
Yes, but he's still eating carbs, so
Yes.
no carbs and no meat would be very difficult. I'm sure there's someone out there who does it, but myself,
Well,
I don't like eggplant nearly enough.
Yeah. I mean, I would only be able to survive off carrots, broccoli, and radishes, and green onions. That's the only vegetables I really like.
So I've never eaten radishes because I don't like radishes and beets. I don't care for at all.
Okay.
Like a radish, I've never even tasted.
I don't think a radish. Well, I mean, I've had a beet a long time ago. I didn't like it. Radishes.
You know what?
Some would say.
I've had them in a salad, like where they're thin sliced.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. I've never picked up like a whole radish.
Now,
Consumed
some radishes are hot. Like it's a weird. It's I don't know. It's a weird type of hot. It's not like an onion hot or a pepper hot.
was gonna say,
It's just,
are you sure someone didn't lie to you and give you like a habanero? Like, here's a radish, Solomon.
oh no, okay, it's not gonna like burn your mouth off unless you're really sensitive to hot. But I don't know, it's weird because it doesn't taste like a turnip.
Yeah.
But I guess it would be in the category of a turnip, maybe. I don't know. Just
I'm not gonna look it up.
go buy a bushel of radishes tonight and eat it. That way you'll know.
Yes, I'll buy 30 of them, and for each person who comes into the Rumble, I will.
There you go.
No,
there you
that's
go.
absolutely not going to happen.
Whatever works for you. I would just buy. Well, let's see. Just buy a small bag of radishes and eat it.
I feel like I could probably just get them to sell me one radish so I could try it.
I don't think you can do that. But hey,
Oh, you
I mean,
can do that.
Who knows?
I was gonna I'm just imagining like trying to haggle with the poor cashier at.
I only want one. I don't know if I like this vegetable.
Well, like, don't you want to promote more diverse eating? Be like, I'm the cashier.
Yes.
It's like the sir, this is a Wendy's meme.
Yes.
Like, because you know cashiers are having to deal with people doing that kind of stuff. Be like, well, what if I just get one of these? Look, sure. I can't barter with you. This isn't a flea market.
I had a couple of interesting encounters with people at the grocery store. I couldn't think of the name.
You know the store or the food box store.
So I was down this aisle, and I was looking at tea, and there's this couple, and they were somewhat younger, and right out of the blue, just sneezes really loud.
Yeah.
Not covering their face or anything.
Oh, just like open sneeze?
Oh yeah. Open sneeze. They weren't facing me, but they were this open sneeze. And the girl turns around and kind of has like a sarcastic smile on her face. And goes, "We don't think we have COVID." Right. and so I looked at them, and I was like, "Well, that's fine with me because I just had COVID 2 weeks ago, so I'm good." And then
but I might still be contagious and then just start coughing.
Yeah. So her smugness quickly like fades away, and they slowly start walk away a little bit. Like, oh, okay. And they turn around and go down the other aisle. I was like, yeah, cover your mouth up, filthy people.
I don't. Yeah, like even before COVID, like just open sneezing wasn't cool.
No, it's disgusting.
Like I would prefer to not have to sneeze, honestly, because I do like the in your elbow sneeze. Yeah. 95% of the time. Sometimes you just like all you can do is get your hands up, and then you just pray that it's not going to be like a gross sneeze.
Sure.
Because there's nothing like sneezing into your elbow and then being like, "Oh man, I need to change my clothing."
Now, since COVID, I'll like sneeze or not. Well, sneeze, mostly cough. Yeah, I'll just get my shirt and put my face basically in my shirt.
Yeah, like just trying to cover up or something.
Yeah. But yeah.
Made me have to cough. Like thinking about it. Yeah, the one thing I do, I'm sure I've brought this up before, is I always see these like online posts where you'll see someone wearing a mask, and they'll pull the mask down, and I'm talking about like pull the mask down, sneeze into your elbow, and pull your mask back up, and people lose their mind at it. And it's like, dude, if you sneeze and you blow stuff out of your nose, you don't want that mask on your face. And if you don't have another mask, if my options are snot-filled mask against my face or take it off, I'm taking it off at that point. Like
exactly.
So I don't expect people to sneeze into their mask. Now, I saw a video that someone was freaking out about because the guy pulled his mask down, just open sneezed everywhere, and then no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. Yeah, because, I mean, when we worked at that pharmaceutical place, we had masks on all the time, and sneezing into a full-face respirator is awful.
And you can't take it off because you're in a room.
Yeah, the product is going to blind you in 25 years from now.
Yes.
Man. we're probably all doomed, like both of us and everybody who worked there, from some of those things that we made.
I don't know. I felt pretty good at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's
And
because you
I
inhaled
hardly.
a mega dose of naproxen.
That's what I'm saying. I hardly ever had any kind of sinus issues when I worked there. And then when I
You would,
left, I started getting.
yeah. Well, which is surprising because you're wearing a mask all the time, so
Well,
you're only getting like the tiniest bits of stuff.
oh, I probably was breathing in a lot of the naproxen.
That Lord knows, like metformin.
Yeah,
Like I'm probably mega dosed myself with that.
sure.
And that's with wearing the mask. Like it still gets through. Like
Oh, sure.
unless you're in like the full hood.
Well, even with the full hood, so this is why I've been completely like anti-mask, or not anti-mask, but I know masks don't do anything
Right.
because I'll wear.
Like
I
their
would wear
benefit
the
is not what some people think it is.
yes, because I would wear the full hood respirator.
Yeah, with like filtered
I mean,
air and
yeah, I mean, like completely sealed up, and I would get out of the processing room, and I would still have powder on my face, and I'm
yeah.
like, well, how in the world do I have powder on my face? I was completely sealed up. So, yeah,
Yeah, like it's getting through, and that's
Yeah.
those things had like the super filters on them. Like they're
Yes.
way more than N95.
yes,
And you're
and
getting like like not like, but stuff that is much bigger.
yes, that was powder particles. So I can't imagine what a virus particle is. So yeah,
Yeah. So, and then like even the full face mask with like the double filter on the front, you'd get stuff through that.
yep,
Now, granted, to be fair, like we were like submerged in particles. So
sure.
to make sure that someone doesn't hear that and be like, "Oh my god!" Like you gotta understand, you're literally taking scoops or barrels
No,
of this
Or-
stuff and dump. So
or-
it is
or
like the
you're-
high end of dust in the room, basically.
or you're discharging from a V blender that has power, what 400 kilos in it or whatever.
Jeez, I don't even know. I never
Yeah.
did let anyone put a saddle on that thing and ride it while it flipped around.
Yes.
Let's see. So I haven't done anything exciting all week,
Yeah.
short of like cook food and look longingly at bread. What would you like to get into today? Because there was a little bit of Blizzard news that they got like a survival game coming.
We can talk about that. We can talk about a little bit of gaming, I guess, and then go into wrestling.
All right, let me hit the button.
Get over here! Time's up. Let's do this.
All right, so the biggest thing would be Blizzard advertised for like hiring for this survival game that they're going to create.
Yep.
And like one of the key arts, it almost reminds me of like Horizon Zero Dawn, sorta, where it looked like I think it was like a lady sitting there with like that kind of armor. Makes me feel like a League of Legends or a Horizon Zero Dawn kind of thing.
Okay.
Now, bear in mind, I have not played Horizon Zero Dawn, even though I would like to, but just what I think of. Maybe Turok, the dinosaur hunter. I don't know. It's like clearly like a bone armor and fur and necklace and arrows and stuff.
Yeah.
The other art picture is there's a bicycle with what looks like two younger people looking out of a cave at something like a castle, perhaps. So I haven't been able to find any speculation as to the setting or anything like that of the game.
No.
Have you come across anything like that?
No, I've not found it. Yeah. Anything about the
Yeah.
game at all.
The most I've been able to see is like if you look through, and this is more catching it from podcasts, like people who follow a lot of Blizzard people or follow people where they see Blizzard people stuff pop up. A lot of like even former employees have said they've played the game and it was really fun at the time.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it. But The one thing that is nice is if it's the ex-Blizzard employees who probably aren't, they probably left for a reason with everything that went on recently.
Yeah.
If they're saying the game's good, they're not just saying that because you
Sure.
know, like it's out of that. But we've played a decent amount of survival games. Like
Yeah.
I think we've both messed around with Ark a little bit. We've played more Conan than I would ever care to admit. I've played an awful lot of Valheim in the last year or so.
Okay, yeah.
And then I've picked up quite a few survival games, or like that kind of style, like build stuff and just do things. How do you think Blizzard will make a good survival game?
I don't know. I have a feeling they'll put in like a daily grind of dailies.
For some reason, they're like,
I don't know.
we need more engagement.
I feel encouraged that they will monitor issues in the game better than
Yeah.
Ark or Conan or stuff like that. So
Yeah, like if your character's head explodes every time you open a door, maybe that'll get fixed one day.
if you
As
die in
opposed-
midair,
Yeah.
and you don't have to build boxes like you did that one time to get your stuff back, yeah. So
Yeah, like because like Ark and Conan use basically the same engine. It feels like things control and behave very similar.
yeah,
Whereas a game like
I've really-
Grounded runs much smoother, but I just couldn't get into that game.
I really wish we would have videotaped or recorded.
Some of our hijinks in that game,
This is your hijinks. I remember that night. You were so mad, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't give up, and you spent I don't know like 2 hours trying to get your. Well, it was great.
yeah. Basically what happened is, so Conan is just the most. Ant colonies have less bugs than that game did at one point. I fell off a cliff, and for some reason, like I died, which is fine, but my body catapulted into the air on a like downhill cliff, so you couldn't build there. So I had to go to the flat part and try to build, and then build over to it, but you just couldn't. Like, so then it gets to where you build above it, which it was like super high up, so it was hard to build straight up like that. And again, we're on like a server, so there's no like admin controls, there are no console controls, none of that stuff. Like you're not cheating anything to do it. To where you're above it and you're basically skydiving down, trying to hit the buttons to retrieve your stuff as quick as possible, and you just can't do it. Like there's just not enough time. It was dreadful. And I still played like another 100 hours after that. So
Sure.
obviously I like to suffer.
Yeah,
Give me
but
a-
I mean, there's been aspects of like Conan and Ark and Valheim that I like. I really liked the smoke feature in Valheim.
Yeah, like where you actually have to build a chimney or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I guess I have high hopes for Blizzard. I don't know.
Well, so I'm going to look at it more optimistically, I guess.
Mhm.
Granted, we're not going to see this game until like 2026 if we're lucky, would be my guess.
Yeah.
Because it's a video game and like this isn't even an announcement. It is, but it isn't. So I truthfully, if we were to see it by the end of 2023 in any way, I'd be shocked. So like I'm not really getting super excited over it right now. But if they do a survival game, I would hope. I don't want it to be like the super modern setting where you got to build computers and guns and stuff like that.
No, I think they should stick with the fantasy aspect.
Yeah, I mean, like the bicycle picture. Obviously, if you got a bicycle, it's like kind of modern.
See, but I think that the illustration is like us going
looking-
into a magical war. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where they were going with it. I could be wrong. I
Right.
could be wrong, but
Yeah, I mean that I would prefer that because again, my taste in setting is like bows and arrows. Like, I don't need magic, but bows and arrows, I would prefer magic. Or
Done right.
maybe you could call it sorcery, and you could have
Yeah.
these pillars that if you get near, you get corrupted, and that's how you do magic. And then never actually put it in the game.
Yes.
But yeah, one thing that would be cool is, because a lot of the survival games do have like where you can build a base and things eventually attack your base or whatever.
Yeah.
Blizzard could do some really cool stuff if they want that mechanic in the game at all, or
Yeah.
special events where, say, the Zerg from StarCraft show up on your world. Like, there's ways to teleport to different worlds or something.
Yeah.
You could have like a StarCraft event. You could have a Diablo event.
Sure.
I mean, imagine how crazy it would be if the game was and like the Lich King shows up,
Sure.
and then people in a totally different environment, like you actually do have to amass like stuff on your world to build and craft stuff to fight the Lich King.
I think you need to do like world events like that.
Yeah.
Because if you are on a PvE, it keeps the game fresh.
Yeah.
And then even on a PvP server, that's just something else that you have to worry about. So I mean, I'm assuming you would like that because you like to be griefed. So
pretty much, yeah. But yeah, like, I mean, honestly, so one of the things Blizzard does a lot is they simplify games.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I could see, because like, so Valheim, like I started playing it completely from scratch, and I've spent quite a few hours just getting to where like I'm not even to the second boss yet. No, I'm not trying to like, oh, I know how to beat him and I'm going to like speedrun this. It's more like I'm just taking my time getting like all my stuff up, but there's a lot of work in like your gathering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you had like a survival game, would you want like crafting requirements to be much lower than a lot of the games do? Like, or is there anything that you can think of how you would like a survival type game as we know it to be simplified?
Yeah. I have no problem with crafting things. I have no problem with it being difficult, but like for example, like Conan Exiles, if you wanted to craft, they made it now if you wanted to craft like I think it's called Sidian.
Yeah.
Or you have to go inside this mountain to craft it now in order to bring it back to your base.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's just dumb, you know? So, I mean, I want it to be somewhat challenging, but I don't want to be being like, this is just a chore now. This is.
And I'm going to assume that, because if it's the same as like, cause there was something you could do where you had to get to like this guarded furnace, basically.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only way you can craft this stuff.
Yeah, was you had to go in there, kill the guys, and then try to do it before they respawned. Yeah. And because it's Conan, the respawn timer might be instant.
Yes.
And then you can't see what's going on, so you get killed by someone who should be dead for at least 10 seconds, but nope.
Yeah.
The other issue I had in that was like, that wasn't even the best, not even close to the best stuff in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, that's an awful lot of work for nothing.
For garbage, yes.
So, yeah, like if you want to make me have to like travel to the moon to craft something, at least make it like really good or really specialized where it's the best for something.
Yeah, and make it where it doesn't break easily.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
So if they do it right, I think it should be fun, but I don't know.
Yeah, because one of the things, like just the amount of materials you need to craft, I could see where maybe they would try to do like a lower amount.
Yeah.
But honestly, like one of the more enjoyable things, and maybe I just have issues, is like running around and like mining rock or ore or cutting down trees. Like that's almost therapeutic in a way.
Yeah. No, it was fun.
I can just turn my brain off for a little bit and just put something on or talk to somebody and just like mine rock, even if I need 1 million of it. Sure. Now, what I don't like in Valheim, which it becomes like trivial at a certain point. But if you're so like my starter world is very close to the Black Forest, like, but you need things from the Black Forest pretty quickly. So the little grayling dudes, like the little tree rock monster dudes, just anywhere you go, like trying to mine like copper or tin or any of that, they're just there constantly. Like just like they're probably not going to kill you. Like pretty quickly, like you're going to kill them in like 2 hits, maybe 3. But it's just the biggest annoyance ever.
Sure.
Like you can't clear them for any length of time. It feels like. So I'd be okay if make the enemies harder but fewer.
Sure.
Like if you want to give me like Dark Souls combat with a couple mobs, and then once I kill them, I know I have 10 minutes of peace. That's fine.
Sure.
But I don't want like something that I can one shot every 10 seconds.
Well, and like that's one thing that I liked about Conan Exiles is like once you killed the enemies in that area, until you left that area, it seemed like they didn't respawn.
Yeah, unless you were in the volcano.
Yes, and they just instantly respawn. Yeah, sure.
Man, that made me mad. But yeah, like because like Star Metal, where it's like you got to wait for a meteor shower. I think Ark does something similar. But yeah, like I'm all for like a lot of those things. So hopefully we'll see like some kind of alpha footage one day soon, just to have an idea.
So this is just me speculating.
Yeah,
I assume since they released it, a little mini release talking about it.
Yeah,
I assume at BlizzCon they'll probably talk about it.
Are they? I don't even know if they're doing BlizzCon.
No, did they get rid of BlizzCon?
I thought. Is BlizzCon
2022
canceled? Yeah, it says it will reimagine the show, but it's decided to cancel its annual fan event.
What the hell does that mean?
That means that they're not going to do it anymore.
Okay.
So
with COVID, I understand why they kind of put it on hold, but
yeah,
that's kind of a big money maker.
I don't know if it is,
or maybe
not.
maybe it wasn't.
I mean, my thought would be because I mean that was more like their E3 kind of, like their big thing. But I also wonder if they're like, man, we have had such a bad public image all of a sudden. Let's not create an environment where you're going to have people holding up signs about how horrible some of the employees were.
Sure.
Because, like, remember how they seemed very unhappy when they did the Diablo Immortal, and the guy was like, is this some kind of sick April Fool's joke that you would, like, you're bringing us a phone game for, like a computer gaming place?
No.
But yeah, so I have some optimism, but again, you pretty much know that the survival genre is almost over if Blizzard is finally working on a game. Just like when Blizzard's Battle Royale game comes out, you'll know that it's way too late.
I think the Battle Royale phase is gone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why in the next year or two we're going to get Blizzard's Battle Royale game. Like,
I mean, is Fortnite still popular?
Oh yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yep. Okay. They're still doing concerts and all kinds of stuff.
All right. So when you start inviting the world into your game, your game's almost dead. If Jay-Z is in your video game singing in a concert, I don't know.
I think you have no idea how popular that game still is.
Yeah, it could be.
So where I work at the school, the amount of Fortnite stuff that I see crushes everything. Like, when kids throw away like papers that they've doodled on and stuff, it's Fortnite In some cases, it's Minecraft, but by and large,
Minecraft, really?
yeah. The creeper. So this troubles me. So, are you familiar with Minecraft a little bit?
Very, very limited.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a little bit. Yeah.
You know, like the creepers, the dudes that like the bad guys that blow up and kill you.
Vaguely.
Okay.
So now you're getting too nerdy on me.
Right.
But yeah.
That's as far as we need to go. Is that
Okay,
like those
okay.
are the exploding bad guys.
Okay.
So obviously there's no water fountains. There are water bottles, and the
Okay.
water bottles are the creeper thing.
Okay.
That seems really weird to me to be like, oh, this is the exploding bad guy in water bottle form.
Okay.
Like, it's just weird to have like the thing that explodes everywhere is like one of the iconic thing that's on all the shirts and backpacks and all that stuff.
Okay.
So that makes me laugh. But yeah, like the amount of like, because Among Us was briefly the hot thing.
Yeah.
And so like they'll have like coloring things for the kids, and a lot like for a while they just mass produced like the Among Us guy, and kids could color them in however they want. But
Yeah.
that's kind of waned. But yeah, Fortnite is still going strong.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good.
So,
Good for the Fortnite.
but yeah, so and they make so much money, like because I figure if they're having Jay-Z or whoever. I don't know if that was a thing you had heard. I have no idea who the concerts are, but that means they're able to pay that person to do it. So
I think I don't think Jay-Z's ever done it, but I know I want to say Post Malone did it. Maybe. Maybe?
I'm looking for a list because I know Marshmello or whatever.
Yeah, he done it. Yeah.
Who had a concert? That Travis Scott guy, Ariana Grande, J Balvin. I had no idea.
Yeah. That's how you know you're getting old. Who?
Yeah. Let's see what this is because they got something in Rolling Stone about it. Virtual concerts. Yeah, like apparently it's fairly popular. But the thing I will say, and I hear a lot of like people on podcasts talk about this, and I agree with it. What Fortnite does, like, 'cause I don't like the building, but otherwise I think it's a good game. It runs smooth, all that.
Sure.
But they got like all these crossovers. Like they had the Thanos event way back where you could basically like get the Infinity Gauntlet or something,
Yeah.
and you could become Thanos.
Batman is either going on now or it was a couple months ago.
Like they did like stuff for the Mandalorian where you can get like the Mandalorian armor.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of like cool armors and things like that you can get. They change the world up every so often. They do like not that I would get a couple ska bands and all of a sudden I'll be like, hey, have you logged into Fortnite lately? But I don't think that's ever going to happen because it'd be like me and 4 other 40-year-olds.
It definitely wouldn't be me logging into it.
Right. But like they're at least doing like kind of cool stuff or interesting things. Where it's like there's other games I've played where it's like, well, you guys could like even like Blizzard games, like they could do something cool, like event wise. They just don't. Or can't. I don't know which one it is, but so
I want to say won't.
right. But there's a lot of things that, as far as like a game world, I guess, Fortnite does right. I just hate building, so, and I'm not going to match the accuracy of 14-year-olds jacked up on caffeine.
It's quite impressive seeing some of these kids build the way I'm like, how in the world are you doing that? And shoot, I mean, yeah, it's quite impressive.
Yeah, I just wish they would do a no building mode.
Yeah.
No building mode. Oh, it's like the from January 12th, 2022.
Yeah.
I have never heard of Real Sport 101, but that's the website I'm on right now.
Yeah.
Let's see.
No building mode, huh?
I'm trying to skim through this thing. Well, so they're saying, like, why would you alienate a large part of their fan base? But they would just keep playing the mode where you can build.
Sure.
I feel like this is all like a clever advertisement for a YouTube video on how to build in Fortnite. But yeah, like, I would think you would have people who would prefer no building that would just go to the no building. If you enjoy clicking buttons and making a tower, you just keep playing that.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, that's obviously not like an Epic Games statement. That's that website. I'm not going to sit here and look through like 30 websites while we're recording, because I did not foresee this conversation happening. But
Yes.
let's see. Well, real quick, I feel like we should talk about some Hearthstone Battlegrounds Battle Buddies. Have you messed with that at all?
No.
Like have you played any Battlegrounds?
I played it. No, yeah. Other than that, back in the summertime, I have not played. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just playing like
Battlegrounds.
Yeah, not Mercenaries.
Yeah. I've recently played Battlegrounds. Yeah.
Do you find it weird how secretive they are? Like, you get like the buddy meter, I guess, that fills up.
Yeah.
How they're like super secretive, like where they're just like, well, when you do things, it fills up. Like, well, is it weighted? Like, what's the ideal thing to do? Like, they don't want to tell you anything about it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Like, someone, like, if they haven't done it already, I was looking last night and I didn't see anything. Someone's gonna like finally break it down to where like, oh, this is the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
And then everyone's gonna focus on that because that's how it works. Like, it's gonna happen. Just break it down. Like, is everything equal or what?
Yeah.
It's like there'll be cards that they make that like you read the card and it doesn't behave the way you think that it should.
Yeah.
And then you like, but then okay, so this is how it works. But
Yeah.
like, how about you give us enough text to explain what it actually does instead of us having to figure it out? Like, it drives me crazy because it's like, again, more than 9 deck slots could be confusing.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Like, they finally like relented on that one, but that was one of the most ridiculous things I had ever heard.
Last night, real quick, I was playing wild mode.
Yeah.
And I was playing the druid that has the one minion that basically builds the guy's armor up to insane amounts.
Yeah, like where you have like 1,200 armor at the end of your turn.
Yeah, and I was playing the priest that basically steals a minion, and you smack him because you have the one cost card that makes it rush, basically.
Yeah.
Well, so he had this minion that was huge, and he kept on emoting over and over again because he's like, "Hey, you can't beat me because I have an insane amount of armor."
Yeah.
Well, for whatever reason, I have the one thing that gives you the reduces your spells, and then you can pick a spell.
Yeah.
So the only option I had was topsy-turvy. I was like, well, I'll just take that.
Yeah.
So I was able to topsy-turvy his minion, and I doubled it with the one card I had, and I hit Interfire, and I hit him with it, and it broke the game because I think there's a certain I think because there's a certain level of armor.
Yeah.
And like I think a minion can only be so big.
Yeah,
and then it breaks, I guess. So yeah. I was like, yeah. But yeah. I mean, I hit him with it was like 2,000.
Yeah, so that
it was insane amount of damage I hit him with. And then the game broke. It froze.
I mean, that's actually a good counter. Because that's almost the only way to kill them at that point, unless you. Now, I beat someone with the priest quest, where you get the like destroy your opponent or whatever eventually, which is like they pretty much, if you have enough card draw, they lose to that priest deck. Now I know a lot of them started running like the Cthulhu thing, where that's their backup in case you can outlast them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that deck, I don't know if I think that like that druid deck. I don't know that it's fun because it's like, this. I mean, it's wild. So I'm sure when I was playing the hunter deck that I don't play hardly any minions and I just like hero power you to death. Yeah, it's not a lot of fun either. But
Yeah.
I'll say this: at least like the druid and the hunter, that's more fun than what mage was doing, where it's like, oh, skip your turn. Here's some fireballs.
Yes.
Speaking
Or
of
the
which,
stupid warrior pirate deck. You know?
at least the warrior pirate deck, though, you know exactly where you stand. Where it's like, oh, I can compete with a minion heavy deck. Okay,
Sure.
or I might as well concede because I'm never going to beat this deck.
Sure.
Like the other ones, you're like, well, I might actually be able to. Speaking of mage, Sorcerer's Apprentice, their card that makes things one cheaper, got absolutely nuked
Yep. I saw that.
from 2 to 4. Now in Wild, you're still going to be able to do whatever, but it does make it take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, some of the mage stuff, it's not fun to play against
I agree. Yep.
at all. Like, there's not even a novelty to it because it's just so frustrating. Now, when you have people emoting all the time at you,
Yeah.
do you just do like the squelch thing, or do you let it pop up?
I usually squelch.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
What I like is to squelch it, but then you can see like where they're mousing over their portrait to do it, and it's turning red. But you have no that's the only way you would know they're doing it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, but the little bit that I've played of the buddies, it's, I don't know, it makes it different, so that's nice, but I'm not sold one way or the other yet.
So we can talk a little bit about TV before we go into well, we're gonna just go into wrestling, I guess.
Wrestling and throw TV. What's the TV?
It's just about Boba Fett.
Okay. Yeah, let's. Sorry, I'm just trying to do the notes.
Bobo.
Something that could never ever possibly destroy us. Mr. Stay Puft.
You chose poorly. You have chosen wisely.
All right. So, what do you got on Mr. Boba Fett?
So I guess this would be spoilers, I guess.
Okay. Is this for the most recent episode?
The most recent one, yes.
Okay,
But
now,
I mean, I'm not going to get into it.
Right, but so this is episode 5. It's kind of a standalone episode, is what I've heard.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, so you're not. Yeah, even if there's an accidental spoiler, obviously, if you don't want to know anything about it, skip ahead a little bit.
Yes.
But otherwise,
So-
yeah.
So that was your chance to skip ahead.
Yes.
It was cool because Mando shows up,
Yeah.
and it's a Mandalorian episode,
Okay.
and all like this one guy I was reading the post about it. He's like, the only thing this episode did was make me want to watch more Mando. Yeah. So I mean, it's a really good episode.
Yeah, my brother's been watching it. Like, basically, I fell behind I seen episode 1, and then I missed the second and third episode.
Yeah.
So now I'm just waiting until all of them are out so I can just watch them all in a row.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then we can have the fantastic conversation back and forth of me saying, well, I can't remember which episode this was in because I just watched them all in a row. But hey, remember when this happened?
I just power watched it in 5 hours.
And now I don't know. All the episodes bleed into each other. Like, that's the only bad side to doing it that way. But
Yes.
because it's only supposed to be 6 episodes, right?
I have no idea. I assume it'd be like Mando, where it's like 10 or something like that.
How many episodes?
Because I think Mando was like 10 or 11.
Let's see. How many episodes? 6. Yeah, so it's going to be 6 episodes.
6 episodes?
Yep.
And they're already on 5?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess next week is the final one. Which kind of makes sense because Boba Fett's getting ready to do something in there, so it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But that episode shows you why why you need to be a Jedi to wield a lightsaber. They did a very good job of explaining. Yeah, you could wield it, but you really need to have Jedi powers to wield a lightsaber. So that's
Well,
one thing I liked about it.
I could imagine like the average person, you're not going to be blocking like laser blasts and stuff, like without the
Well,
force guiding you.
well, and being able to not hurt yourself while you're wielding it. So it's a very good episode.
Okay, yeah, that makes me excited to see it.
Yes,
Because I've heard like a little bit here and there, but I don't like. It's basically like the full episode. Like, there's very little that ties into what's going on
yes,
until the very end, but you could figure it out.
sure.
But yeah, it seems like it's just a fun episode.
Yep.
So of the 4, the straight Book of Boba Fett, we might have mentioned this last week, but are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I mean it's different. It's not like Mando, because Mando had a lot of. Because that's one thing I noticed with this episode. Mando has a lot of comedy in it.
Yeah,
Boba
like
Fett's
reactions.
not- yeah, Boba Fett's not really all that. I mean, he does have it every now and then, but it's more just all right, here we go. We're gonna do this. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a crime boss. Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I
It's
think
just
Boba Fett is my what I'm inclined to think is Boba Fett is more competent than old Mando.
sure.
Like overall, like
Yeah,
the also Boba Fett has a plan, and again, this is me from like books and other stuff. Seems more like he has a plan for when he eventually gets in over his head, where Mando's like having to wing it because it never occurred to him that he could get into a crazy spot.
just more of a gunslinger attitude. Like, all right, well, we're gonna shoot our way out of this.
Yeah, it's like when you think of like people playing D&D, where it's the character that just runs into the room and doesn't care what's
Yes.
in there.
Yeah.
He seems a lot more like that.
Sure. Yeah. Boba Fett, good. If you haven't watched it, start watching it. It's a good thing.
Or wait until next week and you could watch them all.
Yes.
Assuming the 6 episodes is correct. That's what the internet said, and we know the truthfulness.
The internet's never lied.
Not a single time. All right, do you want to go? Because I don't got nothing for TV. Like, I don't even think I've seen a commercial this week, unless it was on during like Dynamite or something, and then I probably just skipped it.
Yeah. So yeah, we can just
All
go
right.
right into wrestling.
Here we go.
Well, I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just where Blue gets at.
This is a revolution.
All right, so we got a few things going on in the world of wrestling. We got all the AEW stuff, and then tonight is the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, that is tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, they moved it to Saturday, which is kind of
Because
sporting of
of-
them.
Because old playoff games tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be my assumption, which is fine because, like, it's nice that the Rumble. I don't know how I felt last year. I'd have to go back and listen to the episode on it. That even though I don't understand a lot of stuff that WWE does, the
They don't
Rumble,
either.
yeah, well, there's a lot of evidence that points that way. I can enjoy the Rumble for what it is.
Sure.
Like, because you got 30 dudes or 30 gals going in and trying to throw each other over. There's been a lot of people who are unhappy because they've announced a lot of the surprises.
Yeah, it was kind of stupid.
I don't know. I saw something because, like, so AEW, like, because they're trying to get, like, the best ratings they can because they want their next TV deal to be more. Like,
Sure.
the big stuff they kind of, like, hint at or whatever. Because, again, they're not getting $1 billion like WWE is. Like, so I could see an argument where WWE's better off to do surprises.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not like they've announced, like, anyone crazy as a surprise. Maybe the
No.
Bellas. Like, I can see there's definitely an audience that might sign up for Peacock for the Bellas that wouldn't have. But I don't know about, like, Mickey James or Summer Rae or some of the other people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're, like, going to gonna.
Well, I don't think they would have, not to insult them, but I don't think they would have drawn like, oh my God, Summer Rae's coming back tonight.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, where it's like, oh, that's
one
cool.
of the rumors is Brock Lesnar's wife is coming back because she's been training with him.
Sable.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't like Sable the first time around. So
No, I didn't either. But,
and again, that was an era. I mean, we were in high school, so
yeah.
because everyone was like, "Oh my God, she's like super hot," and I didn't see it. Personally,
yeah. I
Like,
didn't. Yeah. I was
so,
more
like-
of a Stacy Keebler person.
yeah. The like I don't know, it's just weird. But like so Rumble, so we got both Rumbles, and then you got Bobby Lashley and Lesnar finally. You think that's going to be a good match, or if it's going to be one of these like 20-second things and somebody wins?
I don't know, because they kind of shorten Brock Lesnar's wrestling. It seems like he just does suplexes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's,
well,
some people are saying it's going to be like a worked shoot fight, sort of. Because, I mean, they both have like MMA experience, and it would kind of make sense to do. But, I don't know. I could definitely see like a shorter, like, because both of those guys are like big hitters. So if they did like a 7-minute match, and they just hit each other with just massive stuff, it would make sense that, you know, it would end quicker. Like, you're essentially trading finishing moves to each other to see who's going to stay down.
Sure.
And at least they're both like younger and probably won't concuss themselves on a door on the way out twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know if I have Peacock currently, but I'll probably sign back up to it.
Yeah.
If I don't for the Rumble, because again, it's like what, $5?
Something like that, yeah.
So that's fine. Like the Rumble is worth that to me. I do like their little poster where they have like helicopters under the arch in St. Louis, I guess.
Yeah.
Are those like combat like is it a war zone? Is that what they're going for? It's very weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah,
the Roman Reigns match, I'm excited to watch that.
Roman and Seth.
Yeah. That's about it. And the Raw Rumble itself.
Yeah, because like they announced some people, there's still going to have to be a surprise or two. I don't think they have 30 men or 30 women without borrowing from somewhere.
Now, do you think, like some of the insane names, like Cody, everyone keeps thinking that Cody's going to do it. I don't think so, because Cody in his promo, it kind of insulted WWE.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's doing it. Jericho is a maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't see any like AEW guys doing it.
I hope that someone shows up, just because it would be like, oh my God, maybe WWE is actually considering doing something different.
Sure.
That is interesting. Because them working with like Mickey James, I think, is Impact champion or NWA champion or whatever.
Impact,
yeah. That kind of like, I mean, Mickey James is definitely like a WWE person. Like,
Sure.
I consider like Jericho, I would consider like a WWE person, but like Cody, I don't consider him as much a WWE person as I do AEW at this point, since, you know.
Yeah, he kind of made he like really re-imaged himself in the indies. So,
yeah, and then the AEW run. So I would be more excited about Cody because he's further away from WWE.
Sure.
Like Moxley, like, because some people were speculating Moxley, and
even Renee said something about Moxley.
Yeah, I was listening to her podcast, and she was like, I mean, it is in driving distance, and I don't know what his schedule is. And it's like,
she just fuels it.
Yeah, I mean, she's clever, and she knows he's not going to do anything to promote himself, short of like just showing up randomly at bars to wrestle people. So she definitely added a little bit of fuel to that fire, but I would be absolutely shocked for him to show up.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I would love to see, like, say they don't know how they want Rollins and Reigns to end. Like, Moxley.
You talking about a huge buyout for WrestleMania? Moxley, Roman, and Seth. Yeah,
finally
that would
do
be
the Shield triple threat at a proper place, because Moxley's, I feel like, is definitely higher than he was as Dean Ambrose.
Because I think Tony Khan would be willing to work with WWE with that.
Yeah.
Because as long as you advertise AEW,
Yeah.
while you did it, yeah, I can see it happening. WWE going to do it?
Right. Or are they going to do it where it's good? Well, and I think it was Renee's podcast where she was saying, like, so Mickie James is Impact champion. If she shows up and then gets, like, dumped immediately, that's not showing any other company to be like, oh, this is what they think of you. Like, sure. Now, if she's in there for, she comes out number 3 and she lasts for, like, 30 minutes and has a good showing, then it's like, oh, okay, that's good. But, yeah, if you're going to, like, be tied for, like, quickest Rumble elimination, then I'm sure if you're another company, like, oh, that's what they're having our people do if they go over there? No way. Well,
I mean, WWE used to do that. Well, they were WWF back in the day.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't understand why they have the attitude like that. We're the only wrestling in the world.
I think because they're a business. Like, they are 100% a business.
Well,
I mean, they don't even consider themselves a wrestling company. So, obviously something changed. But to see it change again, where they're working with other and they don't have to do it all the time. I mean, I get that they're like, they are the biggest deal, but to know that it could happen, like,
well, I can see them not working with AEW because AEW is tied with Time Warner.
Yeah,
and WWE's who's Peacock? Is that NBC?
NBC, and then Universal, and
yeah. So I can understand that aspect because you're dealing with
competition,
production. Yeah, so
yeah, that might put them and that might put AEW in a tight spot as well. It's hard to say, but yeah, I could see. As far as Moxley, I think it's more likely he would interfere in the Roman and Seth match,
sure,
than him being the Rumble.
Sure.
Because him showing up and causing, like, a screwy finish to Roman and Seth is super cut and dry. And that's like a WWE kind of thing to do anyway, is to have, like, a screwy finish.
Yeah.
That way he's not in the Rumble and has to get eliminated by somebody. Now, chances of that happening, less than 1%. But
it's very, very low.
That would be my thought. Yeah, there's some other stuff on the Rumble that I'm not super into. Yeah, but the 2 Rumbles should be good. It's weird that the Women's Royal Rumble is a new thing. Still.
Yeah.
Like they just never thought to do that. Like, very weird.
Well, back in the day, they really didn't have a lot of women.
Well, true, yeah.
I mean, till like the Attitude Era. But even then, they were just more sex symbols. They weren't wrestlers. They were just models,
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. All right, let's jump over. So I can't even make a prediction for the Rumble. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no. I don't even know who's in it. So
yeah, like, I don't know. So going back, so for Dynamite, we got Beach Break this week. The sunny beaches of Cleveland.
Yes.
Which led to the greatest thing ever of Will Hobbs and Starks making someone come out to the beach to interview them. And then Will Hobbs has on this fur coat. Will Hobbs is an enormous man.
Yeah.
I did not know they made fur coats that big. Like, that would have had to be a camel.
I think they're like, okay, we have this guy. He's stuck in a terrible storyline with the FTW thing. So let's start doing something with him. So
yeah, well, I mean, Hobbs is still pretty young, so I mean, he has.
I get it.
Yeah, like he has plenty of time. Although it's like you want to see him, like, personally, and I think you're kind of the same. I just want to see him, like, do good. Like, for some reason, there's something about him that I find very likable. Ricky Starks too, but Hobbs more so. Like, if I had like my guy, it would probably be like Hobbs is definitely on that list. But yeah, so they do. The promo doesn't even matter. I was just trying to figure out how big is that fur coat. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. But yeah, he's just wearing that and overalls with nothing under the overall.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks has like skiing goggles on. Like, I'd love to see the conversation about, yeah, this is what we're doing.
Yes.
All right. So they kick off. If you care about the ratings thing, I guess like Big Bang Theory is the greatest lead-in to a show you could ever ask for, because it's leading in with like 2 million people or something for the first few
really?
seconds. Yeah, it's like, it's completely insane.
Okay, there you go.
So that is why you are seeing on Dynamite, especially the last couple of weeks, like one of the big matches is opening the show, is because they are trying to
Keep that audience.
keep as much as they can, which this week they did for the first quarter hour.
Yeah.
Throwing the ladder match on with them already in the ring.
Yeah.
Did pretty good. This ladder match was crazy.
Yeah, I thought someone was going to get hurt.
So I have like back issues. My back hurt after watching this at one point. Because you got the crossroads off the ladder. Now it is like I think there's only 4 big spots.
Yeah.
4, maybe 5, and I'm forgetting. You had the crossroads. You had the crazy cutter. You had the crazy suplex. And then you had the Jeff Hardy, Sammy wants to break his spine moment.
The crossroads, I thought he hurt Sammy the way he took that, because it looked like Sammy went right on his head.
Yeah, I think his forearm came down and caught him.
Gotcha.
Like I've seen him do that a lot for like things that are like head impact moves, where he'll have his like forearm down, but it looks probably why he pops his hair up the way he does, makes it look like it. So that one I wasn't as worried about, but the suplex just looked crazy.
Yeah.
The ladder where he like the cutter off the ladder was insane. Like he landed nice and flat, but dude, that is really high up.
Sure.
And then so for where he did like the swanton off the ladder, do you think the ladder was supposed to break?
No, I don't think it was.
He just hit it a little bit too far forward and just whiplashed his spine.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw, like, when I saw that, I was like, because I was, like, just watching it by myself, I was just like, oh my God. And then I had to take some Advil because my back hurt just watching it.
Sure.
I'm going to guess in about 15 years he's going to feel that one, and he's going to know that that's what it was. Yeah, but so Sammy wins this thing, but this match was just absolutely insane.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the match was good. They're definitely heavily hinting that Jeff Hardy is coming to AEW.
Yeah, I would have to think so. Yeah, there was like some, like I think Meltzer read something that like Jeff had been called, and Jeff was like,
yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Like I saw all kinds of different things, like, but everyone was speculating, like, well, who could Meltzer have talked to that could actually give details of a John Laurinaitis call?
Yeah,
it would have to be Matt or Jeff.
Sure.
And then there's all kinds of stuff about that. But one thing I saw, but I couldn't find any follow up, is like they talked to Jeff, but he was like wanting to know the results of his drug test that he took.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't tell him, supposedly.
Yeah.
Which, because he was saying, he was like, no, I was just like, that wasn't why he walked away.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I can't imagine him not showing up there, especially if that drug test was clean.
Just because of the storyline that they're doing with Andrade.
Yeah,
because
he's clearly going to get rid of Matt. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank God. That whole yeah. So I'm happy about that, but yeah, it just seems like all signs are pointing to the Hardy Boys coming back.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, like, they could have, like, I don't know, like, Matt's obviously lost a step, but I mean, he's still, like, he had that match against Darby, and that was good. So he's had some okay matches. It's just a different style.
I think they're just being protective of Matt, especially since he almost killed himself a couple times. So
yeah, the fact it's one of those. If I had a nickel for every time that Matt Hardy almost died, I'd have 2 recently, which isn't a lot, but it's really strange that it keeps happening to him.
Yeah. So
let's see. So we had and then we went to they made Tony. I also like that they made Tony Schiavone do it, and then he basically just said, "What do you have to say?" But yeah, so they're gonna set up a match. Let's see here. We got Wardlow just obliterating 2 dudes and power bombing somebody on somebody else.
Yeah.
Pretty good. He's turning on MJF soon, I would think now, right? Like since they finally put it in motion.
I thought he was going to turn this week actually.
Yeah, when we get to that, yeah, for sure. I thought that was going to happen. Your boys, Proud and Powerful, I'm pretty sure are about to break away from the Inner Circle. Does that make you happy?
Yeah, it's fine. At Jericho's stale. The whole Inner Circle thing is stale. So yeah, just get rid of that.
Yeah. That'll be fine for Santana and Ortiz. I did like the way where Jericho didn't just walk away. Like he still helped them win the match. So he's like, "Oh, you can do it without me? Well, it looks like you needed me." But they didn't see him hit the Judas effect through the rope. Like it's at least an like we've seen it like a million times in the course of wrestling, but at least they're like trying to play up the details a little bit.
Yeah. Like
to give it a little bit more reality to it kind of thing. I will say
2.0 and Garcia, they need to join like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, like have like a leader, like an experienced leader.
Because they make such good henchmen.
They have become, because I didn't watch hardly any of whatever they
NXT.
were. Yeah, like in NXT, I didn't see them hardly at all. But man, they have quickly become some of my favorites.
Sure.
Like, I know they're gonna lose like a lot of stuff, but they keep being inserted with these like top guys kind of thing. Garcia's fantastic. His sharpshooter, the way he does like the drop back with it, is good. Yeah, like you were saying, like they're almost like Bebop and Rocksteady, but more competent.
Yes.
Like seriously.
Yeah, and then Garcia could be like the second in charge guy.
Yeah, but they need a Shredder or a Krang.
Yes.
Or I mean, you could have Garcia be like Shredder, where he's actually more competent than those two. Yes. Now you just need like a Krang.
Yes.
I don't know if Daniel Bryan's the right fit, but for Garcia's style, he'd definitely be good. But yeah, like, but yeah, it was a good match. We got Hangman and Archer are going to have a Texas Death Match.
I hope Archer destroys Hangman. This not because I dislike Hangman.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a shock. Like, wow, they did something different.
Like, do you want him to destroy him and win?
Yes.
So you want him to win the title?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I want something to be like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
I don't know.
And at the pay-per-view, he can have him win it back or whatever. But.
Okay. So I'd be interested too, because otherwise, like, I mean, Lance Archer is like an old guy, like,
sure,
burning the beat Hangman, like, 'cause whatever heel beats Hangman, it's going to be a big deal for.
Well, you could just play it up like Hangman wasn't prepared for a monster like that, and then at the pay-per-view, you could be like, I'm prepared now, or whatever, you know.
I mean, he's had like a month. Like, because like he's gonna have plenty of time to be prepared.
not in AEW storyline mode. It takes usually 2 years, Ross.
Yeah, I did like where when they were like Texas Deathmatch, he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
To Hangman, but then he was like, "Fine, whatever, I don't care." But there was that moment of like, "A what?" Jesus.
That's what I'm saying. So you already kind of signed it up. So Hangman isn't ready for it. So I don't know. That's how I would do it, but who knows?
Yeah, I think you're going to be disappointed. I think you'll have a match where I think you're going to get part of your wish, where I think Hangman is going to get obliterated in this match, and then finally win. But
Yeah.
like, blood will be spilled. I can like, at some point he's going to be holding Hangman by the hair against his leg, bloody, screaming about something, and then he'll do whatever. So CM Punk comes out. He's got the long boys on.
Yes.
They need like something. They need a belt, or the knee pads need to be on the outside, or the boots need like a highlight to separate.
Let me just stop you right there. Are you playing an organ, or is that a train in the background?
That is a train.
Gotcha.
Where I live, there is a. What's funny is
just so the listeners are like, is he playing an organ in the background?
Yeah, I thought that would really spice it up as some background music. I was hoping that it wouldn't come through. Like, the thing is, it's not like I live right on railroad tracks. Like, they're really far away.
Sure.
The surrounding.
It's cold. It's cold out too, so who cares?
Yeah. Well, and the sound, like, and the surrounding is like designed perfectly. Like, there's not houses on one side of where I live, like out the front. So there's nothing that breaks the sound.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your train of thought there.
But so Punk's really wanting to fight MJF. Shockingly, MJF's not going to fight him in Cleveland. And they go back and forth and mention some other things, but I guess next week in Chicago, MJF wants to beat Punk in his hometown. And then they beat the crap out of Punk. Like
I'm really surprised they're not saving this for a pay-per-view, but okay.
I mean, doing it in Chicago is probably a big spot. There's also the chance that this match never happens.
Sure.
Because
so they just beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, like they just jump him again because that's an MJF thing to do, and then it puts Punk on the shelf until Revolution or something.
But it's gonna be where Wardlow. See how I would do it is they jump him, and then Wardlow just has enough. Like, okay, we beat him, we can stop, and then Wardlow turns on him.
Yeah, like, so would you do? Because I could see like they start beating him up before the match.
Yeah.
He has Wardlow powerbomb him a bunch or whatever, and then they hit like the big rig or whatever, like just massive beat down. And then MJF's like, you really think I would give you like just anti-Chicago? Like, you think I'd actually wrestle here or something like that? And then like Punk's clearly going to be out for a couple weeks as a result. Yeah. And then they're trying to get Wardlow to do it, so Wardlow turns.
And you could have them fight.
Or Wardlow walks off, and then Wardlow seconds Punk to the ring at the pay-per-view or something.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, like there's definitely...
That's how I would do it.
Yeah, I could definitely see something like that. But I could 100% see a situation where this match never happens. Or, I mean, they might just do the match, and then they do a rematch at the pay-per-view, and they split
Yeah, but that's boring. I mean, that's just boring.
My thought would be if they do that, though, is they actually let MJF beat Punk through obviously cheating or something in Chicago, because that's about one of the biggest things you could give to MJF at this point. Because like since he's come back, he's built up that CM Punk has, that he's the most dangerous in Chicago. So, and like they've kind of played on that. Let's see. I'm just skipping some things here. So, did you watch the Layla Hirsch Red Velvet match?
No, I turned it off.
So, I watched it. I thought it was okay, but apparently people just hated this match. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to it, but
it just there was nothing about it that made me interested.
Right, I was just watching it because like I was just sitting there and it was like, well, there's literally nothing to watch this. So, Sammy does his cue card thing. Britt Baker just said a whole lot of anti-Cleveland stuff.
Yeah, my God. I mean, get to the point where I was like, okay,
yeah, that did seem to drag a little bit.
Yeah.
But whatever. We're going to get Nyla Rose and Ruby Soho. They had some promo on Rampage from Nyla that made me laugh. Like, I forget what she said. But, like, she uses profanity very well.
Yeah.
She usually doesn't say shit, but it'll be like, you dumbass or something like that. And I don't know. Always cracks me up.
She's probably one of the best heels for as women goes.
Yeah, because it's not like she comes across like she's dangerous, but it's also like, I don't know, like the cocky, sarcastic humor or something. Like it lands very well for me.
Yeah, she's pretty. Like I said, she's a heel. She's pretty good at playing that. So
yeah. Well, and like, it legitimately is funny. Like anything I've listened to her do or interviews or whatever, is entertaining stuff.
Yeah.
I listened to some podcast. I don't even know how to explain it. Where Aubrey and Nyla were on, and it's some bizarre role-playing fantasy world podcast. It was very entertaining, but I genuinely don't know how to explain it. If you check out their Twitter, I think they linked to it, and that's how I found it. Okay. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm listening to at all, but
sure.
I was entertained by it. Like, it is just, I'm trying to find the name of the podcast just to, because I have it still. Hello from the Magic Tavern. And it's like someone like fell through a portal in the back of a Dunkin' Donuts or something and lives in an alternate reality, or like, it is the weirdest thing I have ever listened to. But all right,
okay,
enough about that. Like, I had to share that with somebody because I'm just sitting there listening to it, constantly stopping, being like, what am I listening to?
Well, maybe our listeners will. You've turned me off to it because when you said really, really weird, but I mean, hey,
that's not your thing at all.
Maybe other people will listen to it. So.
Yeah, if you want to hear, because their role playing is like other people, but like, Aubrey is still like a referee in this world, so like it is out there. I will, if there are other wrestlers on it, I would listen to it. Otherwise, like, no one on that show I have ever recognized their name or enough to listen to a podcast. All right, so we get the lights out match with Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy. What do you think? I mean, you hate anyone tied to the best friends, so
I'm like, please end this feud so Adam Cole can go do something else.
Well, I think that's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it was all right. It was all right.
So it was unfortunate for Adam Cole because he tries to pull a chair from under the ring, and attached to the chair is Danhausen, who cursed him.
So that night, I was like, oh my God, they're bringing this guy in. And I like you said, I might have said it before in the podcast, I don't understand this guy.
Yeah.
But he redeemed himself on Friday with this parody of the gun club there.
Yeah, the Ass Boys.
Yes.
No, that song's awesome, but no, what I liked is Adam Cole discovers Danhausen, gets cursed. He does not realize that he lost the match right there due to being cursed. But
you see, I don't understand the whole gimmick, so I think a lot of people are like, what? Because on Instagram, there is 50-50.
I will say, if you look at any tweet that Danhausen does, as far like, if you want to give likes any degree of value, his stuff is way more popular than a lot of AEW stuff.
Sure.
There's a world where Danhausen is going to catapult them further than CM Punk and Daniel Bryan will.
Sure. I mean, I get the internet sensation. There's a group of people that like it. I get it. There's people that like Justin Bieber. I can't stand them, but I mean, it's just
even Jim Cornette likes Danhausen. So
really,
yes,
really,
he does not want to ever see him wrestle but he loves him. Because
Oh,
so everything he does, so this is being Danhausen,
yeah.
there's a degree of logic applied to, because he does, like, the one catchphrase is very nice, very evil.
Yeah.
So basically, he wants to, like, have more power and rule, or even take over the world kind of thing. But
Yeah.
you can't just be, like, an evil person and do that. You have to be nice to people to get them to like you, but you can still be evil.
Sure.
So, kind of like, was it the dude in The Simpsons that was, like, the one bad guy, Scorpio or whatever, or I can't
I think I know
remember.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, where he was actually a nice guy to Homer. And, like, there's the ones he's like, Homer, could you do me a favor and maybe kill a few people on the way out of here? But he was trying to take over the world, but he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
So, but, like, one of the things he does is he has a jar of teeth that he will put into someone's mouth.
Yeah.
And the logic behind that is you already have teeth in your mouth. So by putting more teeth into your mouth, that's not really a foreign object. So it's still legal. But having someone else's teeth poured into your mouth is going to distract you, and then he can kick you in the face.
Sure.
So, but yeah, basically it's like everything kind of plays on that and has some degree of logic to it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like, so Cornette, unless he changed recently, is a fan of him. But he has said that, like, and I feel the same way in some regards, is he doesn't want to see him wrestle, but he just
Yeah.
wants to see him, like, wandering around and people have to deal with him.
Gotcha.
Because, like,
Do you think AEW hired him for that role?
to, like, just kind of, like, irritate
Just-
people.
Well, it'd be a comedy role, I guess, because it sounds like that's all he does.
He is very heavily a comedy role. Now, I haven't found a lot of his matches,
Yeah.
but they're like, so, like, Orange Cassidy on the Indies was way more extreme than what we've seen in AEW, even towards the beginning. But he still does, like, Orange Cassidy is definitely more serious than he was even to begin with in AEW.
Yeah.
So there's going to be things, I'm sure, that Danhausen is no longer going to have the ability to hypnotize people.
Sure.
I don't know if they're going to pay for the rights to the tequila song. Like, he's probably not going to make people stop and dance in the middle of a match.
Yes.
Now, if he's fighting, like, an undercard guy, yeah, maybe. But
Yeah. Like AEW Dark and Elevation.
yeah, like, I could see, like, doing crazy stuff on Dark or
But you
something
can't
like
see
that.
him beating Hangman for the title.
Yeah,
right?
he's currently, no, I would be shocked by that.
Yes.
He's the kind of person you could see where they do, like, some kind of weird, like, multi-man match for, like, the TNT title, and he gets, like, a real short reign.
Gotcha.
But that's currently. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing to say that he couldn't turn that into a serious, like, heel kind of persona.
Gotcha.
But, like, I think his description is, imagine if Conan O'Brien was possessed by a demon that only watched TV or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But yeah, there's, like, if nothing else, his interactions with people, for myself, should be entertaining.
Sure.
But yeah, supposedly he can go in the ring pretty well. But the stuff I've seen, it's been, like, short clips that get interrupted. So I don't know what his, like, serious wrestling level is.
Gotcha.
Or, like, Orange Cassidy, you can tell, like, some of the stuff he's doing, he's actually very good. He just doesn't do a lot of it.
Gotcha.
I can't speak to Danhausen currently. But I do imagine he will, if he gets, like, as over as his potential, he is going to get a blimp for an entrance at some point. Because that's his preferred. Currently, he has a PT Cruiser because that's what The Rock drives, I think. But
yeah.
so I listened to a lot of Danhausen interviews in preparation for talking about him slightly. So my timelines might be off. He might have got rid of the PT Cruiser, but
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, this match was all right. Yeah.
you're just glad that it's probably over and
Yeah,
Adam
thank
Cole
God.
can do anything else. And technically, he didn't lose. Like, he lost, but if you remember, like, Britt Baker lost to Thunder Rosa, but no one really remembers that. So,
Sure. Sure.
So just to touch on Rampage for a second, the biggest thing was, to me, the Moxley and Bowens match was really good.
Hey, to me, I thought it was going to be Jade and the cheerleader. I thought, to me, I thought that was like, okay.
Like that was the better thing.
To me,
on it.
I thought that was going to be the bigger, yeah, because I knew Moxley was going to destroy Bowen. So
I mean, that was a pretty competitive match. I mean, they went like all the way through a commercial break.
sure.
So, like, I thought, like, obviously Bowens isn't beating him, but I thought Bowens looked good. Like, he's really good in the ring. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm not taking anything away
He's-
from Bowen. Yeah.
like he's becoming another guy that's like, oh, he's gonna do pretty good, and Max Caster's fine.
Yeah, he's an all right.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not bad. Like Bowen or both of them
Bowens is better.
are doing good. Yeah, but as a tag team, that's fine. And then if they're
Yeah.
helping each other out, but yeah, FTR made Lee and Brock look pretty good. Brock Anderson, not.
Yeah, because Lee is terrible.
He
I
seemed
don't
to be
know.
off on a couple things.
I'm just like, man, FTR is making you look good, dude.
To be fair, I think FTR could make me and you as a tag team look credible.
Sure.
So
I get Brock somebody else because the tag team doesn't look right.
it seems like Brock turning on his father and going with FTR and Tully.
Sure. Yeah, I can see
Because,
that.
like, I mean, obviously they're associated with the Pinnacle, but
Yeah.
they could break away or they could, like, mentor him.
Yeah.
Or kind of like where the Bucks have Cutler as, like, a young boy role. Maybe Brock becomes, like, their dude.
Yeah,
'Cause-
I mean, if you're going to get Brock over FTR, yeah, I can see that. Pairing him with FTR,
Yeah,
probably the best way to do it.
because I mean, Brock Anderson looks like Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
You might as well lean into that as much as possible and have him wrestle like Arn Anderson. And FTR is going to be able to teach him that better than Arn at this point from like the actual execution.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and just get him away from the Nightmare Factory. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, it's not a very exciting team. And I mean, obviously, like Brock's like that slower build. Like he's not getting the hook approach.
Yeah, so yeah, I can see him turning on his dad. Be good.
Yeah, and I mean, involving FTR and Tully, it totally
Yeah.
makes sense. Or, I mean, who knows? Like, do something different. Like, it's fine for him to basically be like Arn Anderson again, but I would like something a little bit interesting because this is like the most bland thing. This is like the Honda Accord of tag teams currently.
Well, that's what Arn Anderson said about his son. He's like he says one thing that may hurt him. He looks exactly like me.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, he was saying, he was like, well, hopefully he grows out of it, but
Sure.
yeah, because like just nothing stands out, and he hasn't been around long enough to be like, oh, he's so good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like there'll come a time where, assuming he gets
Brock needs a Ric Flair to help him.
something, yeah, something
Yes.
to be the centerpiece, and then he'll be fine. Like I'm sure he'll be fine, but it's just going to take him a little bit longer, I think.
The greatest thing during that match was when they were talking about how Dax
Yeah,
and Brock was like basically just wrestling the same style, and then
Yeah.
Jericho's like, "Well, you never know. He might be Arn's son. The Horseman back in the day had some wild times." So
I would like if they decided to just do that.
sure,
Yeah, Dax changes his name to Dax Anderson. Like,
yes,
for real.
yes.
Like that'd be pretty funny too. He's like, "No, I beat you. You're now Brock Hardwood."
yeah.
Oh man. All right. So yeah, they got Chicago shows, so they'll probably have something big next week. We got the Rumble, so we'll know what WWE's planning towards WrestleMania.
Yep.
Assuming they don't go to Saudi Arabia and get stuck or whatever.
Stick with Cowboy Brock. That's the best thing ever.
That if you would have told me like a year ago, like Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar is going to come out with a cowboy hat and it's going to
Yep.
be one of the greatest looks ever, I would
Yep.
have been like, well, no, that's not going to happen. And then
I
would say-
100%. I 100% believe Vince is watching Yellowstone, and he's like, "Brock, Cowboys are in.
time to do it.
Yeah.
The I would love them to make an action figure of that Brock outfit.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Because that I don't know, that is just like a really strong look. I was really surprised.
Yeah.
And I do not own a Brock action figure. I did not realize the Ultimate figures become so expensive if you don't get them when you have the opportunity. So I'm very sad about that.
I laughed more than I probably should when they're in the weigh-in on Raw. I don't know if you watched that. And Corey Graves is like, Brock, that's not the proper attire. And Brock's like, do you want me to get naked? I don't know. For whatever reason, that made me crack up laughing.
It's Brock's hilarious in a way. Like if you even look back like old time, like there's some really funny stuff that he did. But he usually doesn't. It's kind of like Randy Orton when you hear him like social media or interview Randy Orton. Is fantastic. Yep. But like on screen Randy Orton typically not so good. Like when he was telling the interviewer recently that he really likes Riddle because he can grow his favorite strain of marijuana.
Sure
Like that Orton is way better to me. But all right, I think we should wrap it up.
Sure.
All right, I'm just gonna hit the button.
We're wrapping it up fast.
Our plan is to be back next week.
Hey, so since we're wrapping it up here, do you think that the Bengals will beat the Chiefs?
I hope that the Bengals beat the Chiefs. Do I think they will? No.
Here's what I want. I want the Bengals to win, not because I really are rooting for the Bengals, and I want the 49ers to win.
Yes.
Because I want a rematch. That'd be awesome.
I was telling someone at work because they asked me about that, and I was like, I don't consider myself a Bengals fan, but I will root for them. And then I quickly explained that like when I was a child and the 49ers beat the Bengals, it made me cry. And then the Giants, Leonard Marshall, I think it was, sacked Joe Montana and put him out. That led to me being a Giants fan instead. Well, that combined with the Bengals being just awful during the 90s solidified that I was a Giants fan. But yes, I would love for the Bengals to
right that wrong.
Yes, and then I could then people would think it would be bandwagoning, but I feel like I would have a justification for coming back to being a Bengals fan at that point.
Sure, I guess. To be fair, though, a lot of teams lost to Joe Montana and Steve Young back in the day. So
yeah, but those didn't make me cry looking at my Bengals poster.
Which one made you cry? Was it Steve Young or was it Joe Montana?
No, it was Joe Montana.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's why when he got injured, because I didn't know like how bad injuries like that were, I was just happy.
Sure.
So, all right, but you're not gonna catch me running around going like "Who Dey" or whatever because I hate that stuff. Like I can't believe like when the Saints were doing the "Who Dat," I was like, "You've heard like "Who Dey" from the Bengals forever." How do you think that's cool?
Now they say "Who Dat" came before "Who Dey."
I never heard "Who Dat" in my whole life.
Well, to be fair, you don't live in New Orleans.
I guess. And I'm glad because I'll eventually be flooded and have to relocate because being under sea level is a bad thing.
Yes.
All right. Button time. Here we go.